You were playing chess on your phone. Has that been something that you've been using to pass the time, or something you've been working on for a long time now?
Yeah, I started in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing ever since. Yeah, I still play. I'm actually surprised how many guys on the team play. So my roommate CJ, we play every night before we go to bed. We go one chess match and then hit the hay. So it's been something.
Does that ever turn into more than just one chess match before you go to bed, or is it you guys stay with the schedule?
There's sometimes a rematch. Yeah.
That is Manitoba Moose forward and Winnipeg Jets prospect Brad Lambert on his season so far. Brad Lambert is our main guest here on Ground Control, the official podcast, the Winnipeg Jets. My special guest on set, I guess we could say, is Tyler Esquivel.
You could say that I am on the set.
He is the manager of digital content. We'll get into your wisdom and a little bit later in the podcast about some key shots for a lot of the great shows that we do. Runway, of course. Home Ice is another one of your babies as well. But before we get going into this, came in on Saturday with my interview with Brad Lambert, set up for 1:30 Central Time. Disney on Ice was here at Canada Life Center, and they had taken over my studio. And as you tend to do, Tyler, with me, as you talk me down, you get me off the...
Everybody just take a breath.
The rage.
Yeah,
the rage that was
fair.
flowing through me because Anna and Elsa had taken over our studio. And they did not care.
Right.
They were angry I was here. They had pushed all our lights in. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be recording a podcast. And they're like, we actually have a show coming up. And they had their dresses. I'll put a photo up here momentarily of what had happened. And I was going to have a huge beef and talk about how Disney on Ice ruined the podcast. But cooler heads have prevailed. So thank you so much for talking me off the ledge.
Yeah, I mean, they're Disney characters. They can do whatever they want.
We have signs all through the studio in here about do not touch this. This is a recording area. And they did not care.
No, and I mean, that's fine for them. I've actually never seen Frozen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even know who these people are, but I know they're highly
so when
respected
I say Anna and
in
Elsa,
some circles.
You have no idea what I'm saying. Anna
Well,
and
I know
Elsa.
who they are, but it's like I was telling you earlier, it's a point of pride now. Like,
it's like when people say they haven't seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah.
But we're definitely never watching Frozen.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I want to get through this life without seeing Frozen, just to annoy people.
I'm curious whenever it is you decide to have children if that's going to stick, because I think Frozen will still be something to watch a little bit later, kind of like Cinderella.
That's going to be the highest mountain to climb, I think. That's for sure.
The reason why we're here, we're not necessarily talking about Disney on Ice, because Disney on Ice brings in a lot more revenue than I do, so I can see why they have.
Yes, we thank you for your business.
Thank you so much, and please come back next year.
Yeah.
Big week ahead for the Winnipeg Jets. The Dallas Stars are here. It's Tuesday when we're taping this podcast. It's a rematch with the Stars. Edmonton's here Thursday. They look a little more dangerous. Do the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, they do.
And then last but not least, Saturday afternoon, it's Connor Bedard and the Chicago Blackhawks. So a very busy week. Get your tickets now, winnipegjets.com/tickets. Thoughts on the week ahead?
Yeah, I mean, it's an entertaining homestand. You kind of look at the tail end of the last homestand, and you had Buffalo, New Jersey, Arizona.
Yeah.
Not the most star-studded of... Not sexy.
No.
Can we say that on this podcast?
Sure we can.
Not the sexiest of matchups. But, hey, the Winnipeg Jets took care of business, and they won those games. Now, you look at the calendar ahead for this week. Like you said, Dallas Stars. That's a team the Jets are competing with for first in the division. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that's going to be a race all year. So you look at that. And then you also have the Edmonton Oilers, who... How could you not know what's going on with the Edmonton Oilers?
That's what makes it a little, I don't want to say terrifying, but the way they're playing now as opposed to where they were to start the year. Because listen, I grew up not liking the Edmonton Oilers, and I was stunned the way things started for this hockey team.
Not upset.
No, just
but
stunned.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a bit like, the comparison that people always make. They're a bit like a wounded animal right now. You don't know what you're going to get with them, and it could be fiery. So, and watching Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl play is absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm. The power play looks like it's back on track.
Yeah, so that'll be an entertaining affair, no doubt. Always great games between those two teams. And then, obviously, at the end of this week, Connor Bedard makes his...
And a matinee, too.
Yeah, Canada Life Center debut. So that'll be fun to watch. I mean, they're an up-and-coming team with some ebbs and flows to their game, but it'll be great to see them, and hopefully the Jets can come out with the clean sweep this week.
We should also, it is Hockey Fights Cancer Night on the Tuesday that we record this. So show your support for the cause with official Hockey Fights Cancer gear. Choose from a variety of items, including jerseys, apparel, and headwear, available at any of our Jets gear booths located through the concourse. That's the official Jets Hockey Fights Cancer gear. It's Jets Gear, the official team store of the Winnipeg Jets. And while we have you here, just hold on. for a second. I have to grab a couple of things. There you go. So I know people are listening to this, but right now we're holding on to a couple of Build-A-Bears, and several of the Jets' wives and girlfriends spent a nice afternoon at the Build-A-Bear workshop for this year's 5 Hockey Fights Cancer ambassadors, creating stuffed bears to contribute to the cause. Listen, these are on sale on Tuesday night. 70 bears will be available, each sporting a Winnipeg Jets hoodie and a commemorative 2023 Hockey Fights Cancer pin. This marks the second year the bears have been sold at the Hockey Fights Cancer game as part of the initiative, and they are, again, expected to sell out quickly. Again, only 70 are available. They are wonderful. I wish I was very good at describing for the audio people that are listening to this right now, but let's go with they're adorable.
Well, sticking with the Star Wars theme, they kind of look like, what are they, Ewoks?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're just listening to this, they look like an Ewok with, you can see their face. With their eyes don't glow.
With a gray Winnipeg Jets hoodie. So you can choose. It goes over top of the bear's ears.
And there's a little pin.
Yeah.
It says Hockey Fights Cancer 2023, big Jets logo.
And there's a little bear in the corner, like a bear face or a bear head on the corner of the hoodie. So that lets you know which one of your stuffies at home this is for.
And in typical bear fashion, of course, they're not wearing pants, just like their elder statesman Winnie.
But the way this goes, if I could describe this even better, the hoodies are long enough to cover up their tush.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, I think it's good.
I think we did a great job of describing exactly what these bears look like for those of you that are taking in the game tonight. So again,
it's actually a nice bear. Like, it's got some plush to it. It's good.
The Jets' wives and girlfriends did a wonderful job building these bears. So I've been to Build-A-Bear. Fantastic place to go to. Very overwhelming with all the options. But
I would put Build-A-Bear in the same category as Frozen for me.
Again, at some point, you will be going to Build-A-Bear. I guarantee you that.
Probably.
And I'll be staring at you going, I told you. All right. The Jets just came back from an incredible road trip. They got 4 of a possible 6 points. I'm not traveling this year. You're not traveling as much. So I'm great with not traveling until trips like this come up. So the Florida trip is one of my favorites. I love going to Philadelphia. I love Chicago. But Florida, where one of the Jets' hotel is in Fort Lauderdale, is right on the beach.
Yeah.
I know you're busy and you never stepped on the beach.
Yeah, like we need to establish this. It's about the hockey, folks, and nothing else.
So you're staring out the window while I'm jumping into the ocean going, why? I have all this work in front of me and he's in the ocean right now.
Jokes aside on that, actually, I remember last year, and I don't remember what the project was, but we got to Florida and I had something due within the next few days, and I think I spent the majority of it in my room. I don't think I touched the beach. So, but yeah, beautiful beach down there. They stay right in Fort Lauderdale, and then they drive into Sunrise. The rink is a bit inland.
It's far.
Yeah, so it's that's not where they play, but the team does a really nice thing by not sticking us in the middle of some business park.
Yeah.
So
there is a move to the hotel it's much closer to on game day, and also like Tampa Bay, their arena is right by the ocean.
Yep,
so location wise,
on the bay,
the best.
The Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the best location. Outside of downtown Winnipeg, of course, for arena in the National Hockey League. Let's go to Rick Bowness, who made his return to the team.
Yeah.
And then Josh Morris, as they talk about the road trip that just happened.
Yeah, 2 out of 3, but we're never satisfied. You want them all. We'll just keep pushing. So we played really our structure in 60 minutes in Florida. Our structure just had a few lapses tonight, which usually happens at the end of a road trip.
Yeah, overall, I think we're playing really well. You did a lot of good things on the road trip in those first 2 games in Florida and Tampa, and overall, I think our game, there's a lot of really good things. Probably look at some stuff tonight. Be nice to get home and get some rest and be ready to play on Tuesday.
I was just talking with my wife the other day. I'm like, I can't believe we're at 20 games already. It is flowing by. They're 12-6-2 are the Winnipeg Jets. As of the taping of this podcast before the game against the Dallas Stars, it's really hard not to be impressed with the start for this hockey club. The majority of this has been done without Gabe Vilardi, who was a key acquisition in the offseason in the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. Now there's a chance Gabe Vilardi could play tonight as we record this against the Dallas Stars, but we'll get that to another time. But your thoughts on the first 20 games of the 23-24 season?
Well, I mean, for those of you that follow the team closely and for the last number of years, the Jets typically get off to good starts in the season, which is massive, and you need that. However, and I think you could probably speak to this as well, it feels different. There's a sense of confidence within the group. There's some changes with personnel that would lead you to believe that things could end up continuing this way. You have 4 balanced lines right now without Gabe Vilardi in the lineup. Who knows when he makes his return? It very well could be this week. I would probably put a little bit of money on that.
Yeah.
So
you bet your house on it.
No, we're not going to do that. But so you look at that, and then you also, that third line has stayed consistent with Niederreiter, Mason Appleton, and Adam Lowry, the captain. Now, I was doing some looking at the stats because, you got to prepare for these types of things. And those guys are like plus 13, plus 12, and plus 11 through the year. And they're playing against the toughest matchups every night.
It's simply been incredible. And I feel like we talk about them every week on the podcast, but for good reason. And they have absolutely deserved it. Some big goals over the weekend. And, I think we can also go into this a little bit. Cole Perfetti, since the move from center and playing with Vladislav Nemestikov and Nikolai Ehlers, has been simply outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, at first that's a tough one, right? Because the big storyline in training camp was Cole Perfetti is going to take the center ice position on the second line.
Yeah, he was drafted as a center. We heard that
exactly. So you're really rooting for success there for Cole. And then obviously the Vilardi injury happens. Vlad Nemesnikov comes up to that second line, who has experience playing in the middle of the ice. Okay, things are going amazing, so let's make that change. And that's fair. So Cole takes off on the wing, and maybe he sticks there. Obviously, Gabe's going to come back at some point here. They're going to have to slot him in somewhere. Not sure how that shakes out the rest of the lines, but Cole has been awesome these last 10 games. I remember kind of talking with a few of us in the content department, just saying, like, Cole's got to start to score here. And, of course, he goes on, a 4 or 5 game goal scoring streak. So
8-game point streak.
Yeah, I mean, you can be nothing but thrilled for the kid. And if you're a Jets fan, you got to be happy about that, because if you have 2 scoring lines plus the way your third line's playing, and heck, the fourth line has had some great offensive chances in the last week, it's pretty good.
We're impressed with the Jets through 20 games. What did Rick Bowness and Cole Perfetti think about it? And keep in mind, these answers came after they lost 3-2 in Nashville at the end of the road trip.
Overall, our team game is very good. Our 5-on-5 game has been really good. Both specialty teams have to get better, but our 5-on-5 team game, for the most part, has been outstanding. It really has, and that's what's going to carry us through the next 20 games. And our special teams have to get better.
Yeah, it's we're playing really good. We're playing really good hockey. Like, that's, tonight didn't reflect that, but as a whole so far this season, we're playing some really, really, really good hockey, and the competes there, the battles there. Even tonight, like, we were working hard. Just, sometimes, things didn't go our way tonight, but, we come with that intensity. We have so much skill, so much talent, and such good players on this team that if we play with that urgency every night, like, we're a top team in this league. So, I think we feel really good where we're at right now.
Hi, I'm Mark Scheifele.
Oh, here comes Scheifele, moves in, shoots and scores!
And this is the Ground Control Podcast.
Which brings us to the play of the week, and I got to tell you, the angle that I believe Daniel Moss got, no, it was Caleb. Caleb got in Florida, in Sunrise, for the Nikolai Ehlers rush through the neutral zone, and up there right now for goal of the year for the Winnipeg Jets anyways. I've always wondered, because we have runway, we have home ice, we have all these cameras on the road, at home going on right now. What is it like when you're in the corner and you see a play like that developing and you get the shot? So I've always wondered with that, because it's for us, and I'm speaking with Sarah too, it's exciting knowing that, but getting that shot must be a big thrill for you guys.
Oh, it's definitely a big thrill. So there's kind of 2 points I'll hit on with this. I liken shooting in the corner like that a lot to like fishing. You're sitting there, you might not hit on anything all day, all period, and it's not the greatest, but you're having a good time. You're watching a hockey game.
I like this analogy. This is good.
You're watching a hockey game, and then you catch a big one. So that's exciting. Now, the other part of that is anticipation. If you watch enough hockey, you have an idea of where plays are going to go based on where they are currently. So if you see somebody sliding into the corner, you might want to look in the high slot, because they love that low to high offense. So a lot of this is anticipation. So a lot of the times you have to be on your toes and watching the actual game, which can be hard through a viewfinder, which is about 4 by 4 inches, or 4 by 6 rather. So you have to be able to anticipate the plays, but when you actually get a shot like that, it is a great feeling, because you know that when you have a second to do the edit, it's going to do well out there, and especially when you have a highlight reel goal like Nikolai's, it gets a little bit of pickup. So very exciting when you get those goals, and good for the resume as well.
Because for everybody at home, there's always this communication between myself with Sarah and I, and we go, our favorite text is, "Did you get the shot?"
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys are doing all the hard work, and that must be a little bit annoying coming from us because we're sitting up watching the game and getting ready for the game. But did you get the shot? And the answer must be, "Oh, baby, I got the shot."
Well, you usually get the shot, but the referees, they have other ideas. They're always in the way. I had one last year. I think it was in Arizona, the first game at Mullet Arena. If anybody recalls, Cole Perfetti scored an unbelievable goal. I might actually have the clip, and we can play it on the podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
But Cole scores an unreal goal, and right before he makes the power move to the front of the net, ref slides right in. I think I audibly said a curse word or something, so you could probably hear it. But
there's some banging on the glass.
Yeah, it happens routinely. But when you do get that shot, it's a great feeling.
So I think we've done a great job leading up to this. Here's Nikolai Ehlers in our play of the week from Sunrise, Florida.
And out of the zone it goes. Yes, pulled ahead by Ehlers. One-on-one, Nikolai Ehlers chips it through, gets around, and he shoots and scores! What a goal by Nikolai Ehlers! And Winnipeg leads it 2-0.
Somebody that scored some spectacular goals in his time is Brad Lambert. An incredible start for him in the American Hockey League. He has now 6 goals, 8 assists in 14 games. As of the taping of this podcast on Tuesday, the Moose returning home today from a long 6-game road trip. I spoke with the Jets prospect while the team was in Grand Rapids. Brad, welcome to the podcast. Disney on Ice has kicked us out of our normal podcast studio, so I'm going to start the interview with this question. What's your favorite Disney/Pixar movie?
I don't know. I can't tell you I've watched too much Disney.
So Disney doesn't rule Finland the way it does in North America?
No, not as much. I think, when I was younger, I guess there was Mickey Mouse and stuff like that, but not anymore so much.
What's something that's popular in Finland that hasn't made its way over to Canada?
I don't know. I think my favorite TV show growing up was Curious George. So I don't know.
we had those books back when I was a kid, Brad. So yeah.
So that's what I'd always record on the TV and watch.
So growing up, you spent winters in Finland and then came to Canada for the summers. How amazing was that as part of it growing up?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. To have two homes basically. Get to experience both countries was awesome, and I enjoyed my summers here, and the schooling system and everything was awesome in Finland. So it was definitely a privilege.
When you think about winters in Finland, what else did you do? Like outside of hockey, I know that was a big part of your life, but what other winter sports did you enjoy doing as well?
I did skiing, downhill skiing sometimes, but I think hockey took a big part of my. I didn't do too many other winter sports. Did a lot of stuff in the summer, but hockey was, the main winter sport. When you're spending 7-8 hours on the outdoor rink a day, you don't really have much time for anything else. So,
yeah, we'll give you that, Brad. What's the best part of playing on the big ice in Europe?
Obviously there's a lot of room, to skate around. So I think that's the best part about it is having more room, time, space to do things. But I kind of like the fast-paced game here in the small rink.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, and I understand like in the Finnish Pro League, the Elite League, that it's very defensive minded. So does it kind of stunt creativity in some ways? Your style of game.
In some ways, yeah, for sure. And also, the big ice hurts in a way where if the other team makes a mistake, they have more time to recover because you're obviously further away from the net because it's a bigger rink. But I think so that's kind of why I'm enjoying the smaller ice, the faster paced game a little more.
How beneficial has it been for you, Brad, so far this year not to be changing addresses as many times as you had in years past?
Yeah, I mean it's nice to be on one team right now. Obviously, hoping to play well enough to get a call up, but it's great to be in Winnipeg, and I'm enjoying myself there. So,
did you think by the age of 19 you would have played games in the Western Hockey League, the American Hockey League, the National Hockey League, and of course pro games in your home country?
No, I did not expect. I think the Western League is the least expected one, but it's awesome to have all those experiences, and you can take something away from all that and learn and get better as a player and as a person. So meeting a lot of new people, got to meet a ton of great friends, lifelong friends along the way. So it's been awesome.
Wow. And speaking of one of those friends, we had Rutger McGroarty on the podcast about a month ago, and he said you're one of the top 5 to 10 funniest people he knows. So where does that humor or that funniness come from, do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess when you got good company, you become funny yourself too. He's a funny guy as well. So we get along great, and we have a lot of laughs. So.
Did you ever think he would say you're one of the top 5 to 10 funniest people he's ever met?
No, I didn't actually, but I'm happy I can make him laugh.
Have you reached out to him and have you talked to him in Rutger in some time here?
No, I haven't for a while actually. I heard he got hurt, so I hope he gets better. Probably should send him a text to get well soon. Obviously, I've followed him. He's had a great start to the season, which is awesome. Hopefully he can get back on the ice and keep it going.
We're going to bounce around a lot through this interview, but I remember when you're one of your first preseason games with the Jets in Montreal, you had a huge night, a goal and assist that night. Did you think at that time that maybe you had a great chance to make the Jets, or did you know that there was more work in front of you?
Well, I obviously knew there's a lot more work in front of me, but I thought I could give myself a chance. If I kept playing as good as I can, but obviously I know how hard it is to get there, and it's the best league in the world, and there's a lot of work to do, but I was just trying to give myself the best chance, and that's all I can do.
How are you enjoying your season so far? You got off to a great start. What's it been like through the entire stretch here in the American Hockey League this season?
Yeah, it's been up and down. I've had some tough losses as a team, some great wins as a team as well. I think we're working on that consistency, trying to get more consistent game in, game out. Play with the details and not play as inconsistent. So we get better results. But it's been good, and I hope we can get this thing back on track.
Yeah, you guys have a younger roster. Did you kind of know that there was going to be some growing pains throughout, in a season like this?
Yeah, I think obviously younger roster, it's expected. But I think we're gonna battle through it, and young roster, we're gonna get a lot better during the season as the season goes on. So I think it will be fun.
You're almost on another mammoth road trip with the Moose. What's your favorite thing to do while on the road?
Oh, I think just hanging out with the fellas. Go eat. Be in the room with your roommate, and just playing chess, whatever we do, and obviously playing the games is the best part. But other than that,
Are you part of the Catan clan or no?
I am not part of the Catan clan. I don't know how to play that, but we played some other card games, crib and stuff like that. So it's been fun.
I know that before we went for Penticton for the tournament in Penticton, you were playing chess on your phone. Has that been something that you've been using to pass the time, or something you've been working on for a long time now?
Yeah, I started in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing ever since. Yeah, I still play. I'm actually surprised how many guys on the team play. So my roommate CJ, we play every night before we go to bed. We go one chess match and then hit the hay. So it's been something.
Does that ever turn into more than just one chess match before you go to bed, or is it you guys stay with the schedule?
There's sometimes a rematch.
Yeah. Who's the most competitive player on the Moose off the ice?
I don't know. I'd have to put myself up there, but I think everyone's pretty competitive. I think Jonesy's actually been doing really good on this trip. He's won quite a few card games, and he won the Catan or whatever they play.
You've never been tempted once to dip your toe in the Catan pool yet?
Oh, I've been tempted. I'd like to learn how to play, but it seems pretty complicated. So.
And is anybody on the team a decent instructor in that department? Because I know Daniel Fink, the play-by-play voice of the Moose, is big and huge into the board game industry. So I thought that he would be a good guide for you.
I think he knows how to play, but I also watched a little bit, and Jonesy was trying to explain what's going on, but I don't have patience to sit there for a full game and watch. I kind of want to get in the action.
And then last one for me, just what from me is just what are your goals now as the season moves on here and going forward?
I think improve as much as I can every day, and help the team win as much as I can. Hopefully at some point get the chance to play for the Jets.
I know, actually, I lied to you, Brad. I wanted to ask you about Finn bread. It's delicious. My grandfather came from Finland, and I wondered if you were a big fan of it as well.
I found a what?
Finn bread. I know. I think my mom.
Like the brown stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I am not a huge fan, but most Finns, I have a couple people that live in North America, Finnish guys, that whenever someone comes from Finland, that's all they want. So I'm more a fan of the Finnish chocolate. That's what I asked for.
Okay. Thank goodness. I'm so glad you knew what Finn bread was, because I was going to look like a complete idiot to close out this interview.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brad, and good luck down the road here.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, great chat with Brad Lambert. You could hear, a couple of times that interview, and I should clarify this. I asked him about Finn bread, which my grandfather.
Finn bread.
Yeah. So there's a proper word for it. I cannot pronounce it. And Brad told me it afterwards, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. Clearly, Brad Lambert grew up in Finland. My grandfather came over from Finland, so we had Finn bread all the time at the house.
Yeah.
So I asked him about Finn bread, and he gave me this look during that interview, like he didn't know what I was talking about, because I didn't say the proper word.
Yeah.
So once I clarified it a little bit, he understood. But there's that terrifying moment where you have a question to somebody, and they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not great.
I'll tell you another story to clarify this as well. So when Patrick Laine was still here, my whole life growing up, I thought Finnish Christmas on January 7th. And I don't know what my grandfather told my mom growing up, but we celebrated Finnish Christmas on January 7th. So I go to Patrick Laine and I go, hey man, excited about January 7th for Finnish Christmas? He's like, no, I celebrate Christmas like all of Finland on December 25th. And I felt like an idiot. So I phoned my mom and I'm like, Mom, what is this? Are you sure?
You lied to me.
You lied to me. Or my grandfather lied to my mom. So we're not quite sure on the clarity of this. My wife would have done some research, but I looked everywhere. Finns celebrate Christmas basically on the rest of us, December 24th and 25th. So
your family just loved Christmas so much. they just did it twice.
The tree stayed up from December 14th to the 7th. I remember this clear as day. So I don't know where that story came from. I don't know if my grandfather had a different.
Sorry, did you say the tree was up on December 14th?
Yeah, to the 7th of
You
January.
only got
Yeah, I know, because of January 7th. So it had to stay.
Jeez, was it a Charlie Brown tree at that point?
No, it was massive. But like you said, there's a lot of watering going on, and a lot of little pine needles on the ground.
That thing had been cut down 4 years ago.
That
you put it up.
That is my childhood trauma, basically. That's it. That's all I have to.
Hey, you're pretty good then.
Speaking of, there's no trauma to go on with this one. Runway episode 3 is up, and tell us a little bit about it before we go into the trailer.
Yeah, so Runway episode 3 is titled Old Friends. It showcases Pierre-Luc Dubois' return to Winnipeg with the LA Kings, and how that matchup went with the three guys that we got in Velarde, Iafallo, and Kupari. We had Iafallo mic'd up for that game, although in the second period he had a squirt of water. We've discovered in the post-production he had a squirt of water on the mic, and it completely just took the mic out. So
it's done at that point?
Well, it wasn't done. We went in the third period, or in the second intermission, and rejigged it a little bit.
Yeah.
So there could have been more moments, but it just didn't work. I don't know. It was disgusting when I was poking through the shoulder pads.
I was just going to ask, is that awkward having to go in between periods when a player is mic'd up to say, hey, can I look at the mic? It's not working?
Well, the players usually take a lot of their equipment off, at least the top half. So the shoulder pads is where the mic's embedded. So it's not really a big deal. We've built some great relationships with our training staff, and they'll go grab it, and he brought it out for me into the training room, and I rejigged around with the mic, made sure it worked again. So I don't know what happened, but apparently you can't squirt water directly on it, which I'm not shocked by.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway.
Maybe Iafallo had enough, and he's just like, I'm going to take care of this.
Maybe. that was featured. Laurent Brossoit playing the Vegas Golden Knights here against his old team, obviously. And then it kind of takes us through a journey of a few games that happened in between. And then it caps off with Blake Wheeler making his return to Winnipeg here. So obviously that was a really cool moment to capture and to just be a part of in person. You know, I think he made such an impact on this team and this community, and the fans paid their appreciation to him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you almost got a little emotional with the impact that and not so much the impact that Blake had here, but the response from the fans. I was curious how they're gonna react. I didn't think it was gonna be negative, but the way they reacted that night was fantastic.
It was appropriate.
Yeah, let's take a look at episode 3 of Runway.
Watch that blue foot.
There was bound to be some hype leading up to this game tonight.
Maloney is knocked down and he's hurt.
Everybody's going to get into it. Shifley's raced in there to grab somebody. And Blake Lazard.
He was an original 2.0 Jet.
It means a lot to him. I know he meant a lot to this organization.
All right, well, many thanks to Brad Lambert, of course, Tyler Esquivel for taking his time on a game day to join us. I know you're busy with the day ahead, but many thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, of course. It's always fun to get back on the podcast. I used to host this thing back when it was just an audio podcast.
When it's just a little audio podcast.
They were like, oh, it's a video podcast? No, get out of there.
Well, your hair looks good for this one, by the way.
Thanks.
Kevin Scheuer is our guest next week on the podcast. Murata Tesh will also stop by as well. So that'll do it for this edition of Ground Control, the official podcast, the Winnipeg Jets. We'll see you next week.